Yeah, welcome back. Pull up a chair. I know, um, talked about some pretty funny things around here. And cop life is basically hours and hours of boredom surrounded by minutes of being busy and seconds of sometimes pure terror that's on there. It's also a part of some not good things that happen out there that officers get a chance to see, even though they don't want to. But it comes along with the story, where it comes along with the business. Case in point, it was snowing one morning, so I was on, and I was actually Sector F, and um, got a call of an accident just north of the city, and I respond, lights and siren, and I'm listening to the radio as I roll in, and med is being called out, or first responders are being called out, and then I'm also advised too that state patrol is on the way and county is on the way. Roll up, come up this hill, and you can just see it. It's a mess. There's a minivan that had struck a trailblazer along the way, and or something of that nature, just like a mini little SUV. So roll up, got my lights on, go running up to the vehicle, check with a couple of other people, and you can see in the front seat of the vehicle that was struck, the passenger is not with us and the driver is not with us. So I'll do a quick pulse on the driver, and for reasons I won't get into, the female passenger was obviously no longer with us, and so nothing I could do on there. We had a call on the way in that the daughter was outside of the vehicle, but she was being tended to by first responders. So I go over to the striking vehicle, and the gentleman is alive that's driving, but he's got a pretty banged up head, and he got a big split that's like right here, and you can see, yeah, I think you can see bone. But introduced myself. I says, "Hey," I says, "Officer Prokop, Wausau Police Department. You're involved in a car accident. You're alive. What's your name?" So he manages to tell me his name, and he's just, and he obviously he's going through all sorts of trauma that's there. And I said, "Look," I said, "how do you feel? Do you have any pain?" He says, "Yeah." He says, "I have a lot of pain." I said, "That is excellent." I said, "Because if you're feeling pain, that means you're alive." And I'm kind of looking as I'm going through. I said, "Here's what I got to do." I says, I don't have my, or no, actually I did have my bandage on me. So I reached down into my carrier that I had, and I pulled out it's called an Israeli bandage. I used it over in Iraq, and I brought that and a tourniquet and a whole bunch of other things back with me from from overseas, and was using that. So I was able to take that out, and I says, as I start bandaging him up, all of a sudden I hear a voice from the back seat says, "Hey, Dave." And I look over, and it's my buddy, and our kids play hockey together. So it's like it's amazing what a small world that the hockey world is, for lack of better verbiage that's on there. And as soon as I realized who it was there, I said, "Hey," I said, "let me tell you something, sir." I said, "You are in the best hands. The people that you got the best care in the area right now." I says, "You're going to be all right." And he visibly relaxed. You could see he kind of calmed down a little bit. His breathing rate came down. It started to be slow and methodical as he's breathing. So as we're working on as I'm working on him, some of the first responders come over, and they says, "Hey, have you located the son?" And I stop what I'm doing. I'm like, "What are you talking about? What son?" Everybody's, "What son are you talking about?" I says, "Well, the son was in the vehicle as well too." So we look around at each other, and bang, like three of us, four of us beeline right back to the vehicle. I go through the back, and it's a hatch. The hatch is popped up, and I kind of crawl in there, and got mom in the front seat. You got dad right next to her, and then there's the back seat. And there's like a ton of clothes. It's like somebody just like kicked open like a suitcase full of clothes all over the vehicle. So I start digging, and I'm going through there, and all of a sudden I hit something semi-solid, and it's warm. grab onto it, shake it, and I can see the movement. I can see the movement underneath the clothes. And I'm like, fuck, I found the brother. Pull the clothes off him. No pulse, no gore on there. So he must have had, went hopefully fairly quickly. And so we located him. We removed him, turned him over to medical personnel to see if they could do anything. And unfortunately, they couldn't. So I go back. I sit in my squad, and it's kind of hitting me. And my buddy who was there as a senior officer, and he says, "Dave," he says, "Are you all right?" And I'm like, "Nah, man, I'm not. This really hitting home because the kid that I was just dealing with is the same age as my son, my oldest son, and it hit me pretty hard. And next thing you know, the phone um, kicks off in my vehicle, and I answer it, and it's my lieutenant. And he says, "Hey," he says, "How you doing?" I said, "Well, to be honest with you, I'm really not. I'm not doing okay." I said, "I need to go. If it's all right with you," I said, "I want to clear." I said, "I can do the accident report or whatever you need me to do." I said, "But I got to head over to the VA." I said, "Because I got a counselor that I talked to there, and has really kept my head screwed on straight ever since I went overseas." And so I'm released. I head over and I'm talking to get in there, talk to my guy, and for about 45 minutes, just get everything off my chest. And thank God, because the VA, the counselor I had there just stopped everything and put me at the top of the put me at the top of the list, and I was able to get in and see him right away. Got home after that. I called LT, let him know that I was done. And he says, "Yeah, you going into your off days?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Take the rest of the day off." He says, "You can do this when you get back. There's really no rush to it that we have." I said, "All right." So I went home, and about the time I got home, the kids had gotten home from school. And first thing I did is just gave them both a huge hug, and like almost like squeezing the daylights out of them, and did not want to let them go. Man, the reason I talk about this is, yes, a lot of my stories are funny. The majority of my stories are funny. I've got a couple of other ones that are coming up. This is just one of those where it makes you realize what's important to you, and every time you leave the house, be thankful and be blessed, and make sure you say goodbye to somebody, and make sure you give them a hug or a kiss, because you never know when your last day is going to be. And unfortunately for this family, they had no more tomorrows.